Okay, we have a non-cooperative PC today. Thank you for your patience. Good afternoon, everyone. On va commencer avec quelques annonces. Donc, étant donné que la réunion des chefs de cabinet est toujours en cours, nous ne sommes pas en mesure de partager avec vous l'agenda de la réunion du collège de demain, mais on va vous tenir bien évidemment informés au cours de la journée à travers nos canaux de communication. Oui, effectivement, la réunion, la hebdo a eu lieu exceptionnellement aujourd'hui et pas hier, parce que je vois qu'il y a quelques visages et expressions surprises. Donc, je continue avec les annonces concernant les réunions du Conseil aujourd'hui. Il y a les ministres de Défense et les ministres des Affaires étrangères qui se réunissent à Bruxelles pour les deux conseils des Affaires étrangères. La haute représentante Kaja Kallas préside les deux réunions et la Commission y sera représentée par les commissaires Marta Kos et Dubravka Šuica pour les différents points de l'agenda. Au sein du Conseil des Affaires étrangères et dans sa formation défense, les ministres examineront le soutien militaire de l'Union européenne à l'Ukraine après un échange de vues informel avec le ministre ukrainien de la Défense, Rustem Umerov, par vidéoconférence et en présence du secrétaire général de l'OTAN, Mark Rutte. Ils vont discuter de la mise en œuvre du livre blanc sur la défense européenne, la préparation à l'horizon 2030 et du plan Rearm Europe. Ensuite, les ministres des Affaires étrangères se réuniront pour le deuxième conseil. Ils aborderont la guerre d'agression de la Russie contre l'Ukraine après un échange de vues informel avec le ministre ukrainien des Affaires étrangères, Andriy Sybiha, par vidéoconférence. Finalement, ils examineront la situation au Moyen-Orient et en Syrie, ainsi que les derniers développements en matière de sécurité et défense. Veuillez noter que ce matin, avant le Conseil, les ministres se sont rendus à un petit déjeuner informel en marge du 4e Forum humanitaire européen, présidé par la haute représentante Kallas, la commissaire Hadja Labib et le ministre des Affaires étrangères polonais Radosław Sikorski. Je vous invite, comme d'habitude, à réserver vos questions sur les affaires étrangères pour la conférence de presse qui aura lieu vers 17h45, d'après les dernières informations. Finally, last but not least, I would like to welcome two groups of visitors joining us today. You are 25 journalists from Finland and 22 journalists from the Dutch Association of Journalists, both here in the context of visits organized to visit the European Commission. We hope that you enjoy your stay here with us at the press room and in Brussels, and wish you all the very best in your professional activities. Let me conclude by saying that Commissioner Labib will be also here in the press room at 3:30 today for a press conference with Polish Undersecretary of State, Anna Radwan-Röhrenschef, on the European Humanitarian Forum 2025. And that's all for our announcements today. And with this, we can move to your questions. Yes, Razia, please.
Thank you. Razia Akoch, AFP News Agency. I have a question that relates very specifically to the Commission and the process of the Commission, because the Netherlands is pushing for a review of the Israel-EU Association Agreement, and a growing number of member states support it. But the decision for any review needs to be taken by the Commission, and so I'd like to know who in the Commission is responsible for taking that decision. Thank you.
Yeah, you're right. Any decision in regard of a possible review of the association agreement with Israel would have to be taken by the Commission. We will not now speculate about it. It is being discussed today at the Foreign Affairs Council, so we will be taking it from there. And as said, by tonight at the press conference, there may possibly be already more information about this and where the discussions have led. Yes, Jorge.
Hello, Paula. I want to ask you about the President of the European Commission and the phone call that she had yesterday with President Donald Trump. There was a bit of confusion afterwards because we saw the German Chancellor saying that Europe will go ahead with sanctions, but then Trump said that he will not go ahead with sanctions, and the idea was to coordinate the sanctions with the US. So is the Commission President, ready to move forward with the sanctions that she previewed last week, that we remember, Nord Stream banking, etc., or is she waiting to see some progress on the ground like Donald Trump said? What are the conditions to move forward with this package? Thank you.
Thank you, Jorge. Well, first of all, I think it's worth saying that yesterday's debrief of the call between President Trump and President Putin. As you know, President Trump debriefed some European leaders, including President von der Leyen. This is positive. It is really the result also of consistent efforts and engagement, as you know, by various European leaders, including President von der Leyen herself, to keep a direct communication with the United States on about the war in Ukraine, about ceasefires. We have been sharing with President Trump the reading of the situation as far as Europe is concerned. And this debrief also shows the mutual interest by President Trump in keeping each other mutually informed. Now, as regards next steps, and this is also why it's been a good initiative. It's been agreed that there should be direct talks between Ukraine and Russia with the participation of European counterparts and the US, to be seen where exactly those talks should take place. And with regard to the sanctions that you mentioned, as you know, today in the Foreign Affairs Council, we expect a final adoption of the 17th package of sanctions against Russia. Then the exact date for entry into force of these sanctions depends on the progress achieved in the next days. And in parallel, we continue to work on another package of sanctions, as was announced by President von der Leyen last week. You have a follow-up, Jorge?
Yes, something that you said right now, that the 17th package that was adopted today, the entry into force will depend on the progress on the ground, so they will not enter into force immediately, as it's usually the case with sanctions.
Exactly what is foreseen in the proposal to be adopted today, and when exactly the entry into force will be foreseen. Good. Other questions?
So it's just about the U.S. participation, because Trump said that for the time being he will not move forward with sanctions, right? And I remember that last week President said that one of the ideas was to lower the price cap on Russian oil, and this requires U.S. participation. So you said now that the Commission, will move forward with the preparation for these sanctions. Will you still include the price cap on oil after what Trump said, or you're reconsidering what the package will include? Thank you.
We are engaging with our counterparts also in the G7, precisely in discussions about such a possible measure. And so we'll see whether that can be really also in the form of a G7 joint measure or not. So we'll be seeing this in the next days, how it will then materialize in a final set of proposed sanctions. Yes, please.
Oui, bonjour, Adrien de Calan, l'agence France-Presse. Emmanuel Macron a réclamé, après le chancelier allemand hier, il a réclamé la suppression de la directive sur le devoir de vigilance des entreprises. Est-ce que maintenant que ces deux dirigeants se sont prononcés, ce texte est mort et enterré selon vous? Et qu'est-ce que vous attendez concrètement comme prochaine étape pour ce texte?
Merci. Donc, le texte est vivant. Et il est vivant au Conseil et au Parlement européen en vue de la procédure de codécision. Et donc, ça sera l'occasion pour les États membres, dont ceux que tu as mentionnés, de se prononcer là-dessus. Voilà, il y a une proposition de simplification de la part de la Commission. Maintenant, ça va suivre sa procédure habituelle avec les co-législateurs et on va voir qu'est-ce que ça va donner en termes de résultats finaux. Oui.
Mais est-ce que ça ne pose pas un problème politique un an après l'adoption d'une loi, deux États réclament déjà qu'elle soit supprimée?
Encore, je reviens à la procédure qui va être suivie parce que, justement, il y a eu une proposition de la Commission qui est censée simplifier la directive. Donc, il va falloir qu'on suive la procédure et que tous les États membres puissent se prononcer là-dessus, y compris le Parlement européen, pour voir ce que va être le résultat final des négociations, des discussions de codécision. Other questions? I see some questions online. Angela Mauro.
Yes, thanks for the opportunity. My question is on the association agreement with Israel. I raised my hand before when it was treated, but okay, I go on. It's on the method. Those who propose to suspend the agreement say that if there is a majority of states, of member states supporting it, and especially if have anything to object, the Commission has simply to decide, consequently, to suspend the agreement. So on the method, what's your take on this? What's your view? Thanks. I understand you don't...
Thank you, Angela. You've been cut, but I got the main gist of your question, and I understand it's actually the same question that Razia had before. So we will see later today what the discussions in the Foreign Affairs Council has led to, and we will take it from there. Oui, on this. Diego.
Yes, exactly. I'll re-ask the question because it's still not clear to me. If there's a majority in Council, the Commission can decide on its own to put it under review, or does the Commission have to take it back to Council and see if there's unanimity? Is the proposal enough? That's basically the question.
And again, I would just because, let me see, where is the Foreign Affairs team? They're all in the Foreign Affairs Council, and that's why we cannot go into the details. So, Diego, let me also come back to this. I don't want to reply anything that is not accurate, to see what would that mean theoretically, merely in terms of procedure. Okay. Other questions online? Stefan, Israel?
Yes, sorry, I was back. Actually, I would like to come back to the Ukraine situation. You said before that you shared the reading of the situation with President Trump. and that is the good news. But my impression is that your reading and the reading of the US administration is completely different. So what is good about this? And secondly, you said, that it's good that they talk now directly, Ukraine and Russia together, but to me it looks like quite a radical shift from your previous position, where you asked Russia to accept a unconditional ceasefire. Now, the new position is that Russia and Ukraine should deal with this ceasefire among themselves, and you maybe watch it from the sidelines. So isn't this a bit different from last week, when you announced sanctions in case, or some member states at least, spoke about additional sanctions in case Russia doesn't accept ceasefire, as Ukraine has done 60 days ago? Thank you.
Thank you, Stefan. No, our position has not changed. What we've seen as a result of the call yesterday, first, it is positive that President Trump remains engaged and that he wants to cooperate with the European counterparts. That's positive. As regards President Putin, he reiterated his well-known position. It's been his consistent position. Also last year already, but last week when he did not show up for direct talks with President Zelensky in Ankara, which shows, again, confirms that he is not ready for peace. And on the other hand, on our side, the European leaders, President von der Leyen, has very often reiterated our call for a fair and lasting ceasefire, and that's for that and in that view that we're working, also with President Zelensky, with whom we keep also regular contact, and who himself yesterday reiterated again his willingness to do everything at his reach to actually come to such a ceasefire and to meet. Still on this, we come back to this topic. Jorge.
Yes, another thing that I noticed about these readouts is that Trump, he spoke quite effusively about Putin and Russia, and he said that he's eager to trade with Russia again and create, and I quote, massive amounts of jobs and wealth. This seems to be directly at odds with the Commission position, that it's about keeping sanctions in place and making Russia pay for war reparations and also bringing Putin to trial. So do you think that Russia deserves a massive amount of jobs and wealth after the damage it caused on Ukraine? Thank you.
Thank you, Jorge. As said, we have not changed our position, and that is why also, as today, we are having a new set of sanctions, which are aimed precisely at making sure that we deprive Russia from revenues which are used in feeding this war. So our position has not changed in this regard. I have other requests for the floor online, I guess on a different subject. Michaela Gergisen.
Bonjour. Ce matin, le Parlement européen a adopté un rapport demandant à la Commission de prolonger le plan de relance pour encore 18 mois. Et ça concerne surtout les projets, dit le Parlement, qui sont arrivés à une certaine maturité. Je me demandais si vous auriez une réaction déjà à ça. Merci.
Merci. C'est une question pour Maciej.
Bonjour, merci Michaela pour votre question. Donc, notre position, la position de la Commission ne change pas. La date finale du programme de relance, c'est la fin de l'année 2026. Donc, jusqu'à cette date, tous les paiements doivent être faits pour la Commission européenne.
Merci Maciej. Pas d'autres questions là-dessus. Autre question pour Maciej? Non. Alors, on peut changer de sujet. J'ai Eleonora Rinaldi.
Can you hear me well?
Yes, we can, Eleonora.
Okay. Hi, this is Eleonora, covering energy and climate for MLEX. I have a question actually about the EU-UK summit yesterday and the announcement that the EU is exploring a potential rejoining of the UK in the EU electricity market. So I wanted to ask you, how would this take place concretely? Will this need amending the current TCA, the Trade and Cooperation Agreement? Will this require a new agreement? And is the UK on board? Do you expect backlash from the UK?
Thank you. And because it concerns energy, it will be taken by Anna Kaiser.
So what was agreed yesterday was to explore the possibility that would lead to the participation of the United Kingdom to EU's internal electricity market, which would include wholesale and retail electricity. So now, for that to happen, it would require for the United Kingdom to dynamically align to the relevant EU rules. So basically what is happening now is to commence with the technical work and the exploratory work which will launch, and in the meantime the current electricity trading arrangements will continue to apply as before. But it's a bit early following yesterday's political agreement to now go into any further detail, but the work is ongoing, and we will obviously keep everybody informed as it progresses.
Thank you, Anna Kaiser. Any other questions on energy, climate? Oui, André.
Oui, ma question portait sur un article du Financial Times sur l'énergie nucléaire et l'Allemagne qui serait prête à évoluer, être un peu plus ouverte avec la France sur l'énergie nucléaire. Est-ce que vous avez entendu parler de ça? Et est-ce que ça pourrait avoir des conséquences concrètes dans des textes européens?
I haven't yet read that article, André. In any case, it's useful to recall here that the energy mix, as you know, it is a prerogative of the member states. It's up to the member states to choose what are the sources of energy they compose their basket of energy sources from. Other questions to Anna Kaiser? No. Odile Harvey. Is it for Anna Kaiser? Probably not, because I think you already had your... No. So I have Mihaela Gergisan.
Okay.
Yeah, a follow-up.
Well,
no.
Okay, thank you, Paula. It's not for Anna Kaiser.
Okay.
I just would like to have a precision about the Commissioner Labib this afternoon on the European Humanitarian Forum. I just would like to know whether she's going to speak about the horrible situation of humanitarian help in Gaza at the moment, and because there are just a few trucks that have been entering, but the situation is still absolutely terrible. Do you think she will talk about Gaza?
I do not want to prejudge what Commissioner Habib will say, but given the tragic situation in Gaza at the time being, I think it's extremely likely that she will address it, and obviously then she will also reply to questions that you and other colleagues may have.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Razia.
I have a question on digital. We're seeing that Skinny Talk is a growing trend on the platform TikTok, and I just wanted to know, because France and Belgium have both raised the alarm about the issue, I wanted to know what the European Commission is doing concretely. Like, are you just looking into it? Is there anything, has there been any RFIs, anything like that? And I also wanted to ask whether the European Commission is as worried as some experts, parents and others, including the ministers, as I've aforementioned, if the European Commission is as concerned as well. Thank you.
Thank you for keeping those topics alive here in the press room. Thomas.
Hi, Raz. Indeed, we're very well aware of the issue of this trend on TikTok. Now, how we deal with harmful algorithms, especially when they target minors, is already part of the investigation that we opened last year in February when it comes to TikTok, because here harmful algorithms are covered, including when it comes to eating disorders. So we're very well aware of the issue. We're in exchanges with the member states that you were mentioning, and we take this, of course, very seriously to protect our children online.
Thank you. Other questions to Thomas? Nope. Then I have a question online, Mihaela Gergizan. Now we try to get you.
Oui, merci beaucoup pour cette deuxième chance.
Voilà.
Non, je voulais revenir un peu sur le sommet avec nos amis les Britanniques hier à Londres. Alors, dans le communiqué final, on voit que il est question des citoyens, mais surtout d'Erasmus+. Il y a 2 semaines, je crois, on a eu un communiqué commun concernant aussi les citoyens, mais cette fois-ci, les visas d'études et les citoyens européens qui se trouvaient en Grande-Bretagne déjà avant la fin 2021, je ne sais plus. Oui, 2020, avant la fin de 2020. Donc, ma question concerne ceci. Où en est-on avec les visas d'études? Ça, c'est une chose, parce que je connais plein de parents qui peuvent pas payer les 40 000 livres sterling par an, mais ils ont eu déjà la lettre d'acceptation des universités britanniques. Et par exemple, ma fille, et comme ma fille, beaucoup d'autres jeunes sont maintenant en pre-settled status, et ils ont peur qu'ils vont se faire rejeter par le Home Office à un moment donné. Donc, où en est-on avec ça? Merci.
Merci, Mihaela. Malheureusement, il va falloir donner un peu de temps jusqu'à ce que l'accord l'accord historique d'hier, soit mis en œuvre. Mais Olof, tu as peut-être d'autres éléments là-dessus.
Merci, Paula. Pas grand-chose à ajouter. Hier, c'était vraiment un point de départ. Et on va continuer nos négociations avec le Royaume-Uni, exactement pour trouver un accord qui marche pour les deux côtés. Et on ne peut pas dire plus à ce stade-là.
Bien. D'autres questions? No. With this, we have a final there. Maybe final. Tommaso?
Hi, Tommaso Galavotti, the Cronos Italy. Actually, I got a couple of questions on 2 separate issues. I asked the first one. The first one is on banking, because it's regarding UniCredit Commerzbank, because the new German government has not changed its attitude towards this possible merger, and notably the Minister of Finance, Lars Klingbeil, said that the German government is squarely contrary to this operation. Since this, Commerzbank is a big German bank, it's not well managed because the cost-income ratio is just below 60%, while the cost-income ratio of UniCredit is below 40%. So we've been talking for 4 years of banking union, but when an Italian bank goes in Germany to try to take over a German bank, they cannot go on. So I wonder if the Commission is going to do something about this and to put pressure on Berlin to be more open towards foreign investors. Thank you. And then I'll ask my second question on a different topic. Thank you.
On this, thanks for your question, Tommaso. On this, unfortunately, we can't say anything because we don't comment on supervisory approval processes. As a general point, you understand that as part of the banking union, we believe that consolidation is a good thing, but we can't comment on ongoing supervisory processes.
Okay, if I may, the second question is regarding the visit of the head of state, the Italian head of state, Sergio Mattarella, tomorrow, who's going to take part in the College of Commissioners, if I'm not wrong. May you tell us something more? Is there any particular expectation about this visit? Any particular issue that is going to be dealt with? Many thanks.
Yes, for the moment, there's not much that we can say. Indeed, President Mattarella is visiting the Commission and will be there at the beginning of the college meeting. Maybe we'll be able to tell you more tomorrow after the college. Yes.
Bonjour, Camille Cantu de l'AFP. Une petite question sur l'OMC. La Russie a saisi l'OMC hier au sujet du mécanisme européen d'ajustement carbone aux frontières. Je voulais savoir quelle était la réaction de la Commission. Merci.
Merci pour ta question. On est au courant en ce qui concerne ce cas et on est très très sûr que tout ce qu'on a fait de notre côté est compatible avec les lois OMC.
Oui, Nicolas.
Thank you. My French is not the best, but the Russians did also complain about the ETS and the system of free allocation, which the EU currently has in place. Is it also of the opinion that free allocation as they stand today are WTO compatible?
Absolutely.
What she said.
Absolutely. Good. Any other questions? No? Then thank you very much for your participation and see you tomorrow. It's mine. Dear colleagues, I'm reminded. So we have adopted. So we have the adoption of a long-awaited measure by the Commission on the safe third countries list. It's just been adopted, and because it just came out, we would like to offer the possibility of having a technical briefing at 2:30, and we will start 2:15. Apologies, my colleagues are rightly correcting me, at 2:15 today, and we will start with on-the-record session, so that you can also ask some questions on this topic on the record, and then we'll proceed with a technical briefing. Thank you.